And we are live with Chaos and Izzy. The Royal Rumble is still going on. It's Dean Ambrose and Triple H. And Triple H just won the World Heavyweight Championship for the 14th time?
I don't think that happened yet. We're still 14? Live here. I think Dean Ambrose has a little bit of shot.
No. He's holding the belt. He's holding the belt.
Nah. We have a liftation right here.
Triple H is the champ.
Triple H is looking good.
Stephanie out there, her red dress with her boobs looking flat.
Oh, perfect knee from Triple H.
The game is just won.
Oh, Dean Ambrose, so we have Triple H as the champion, the new champion.
I just said that. Well, I'm still the champ, right?
No.
I'm still the champ.
Yeah, the champion podcast.
I'm the champ of the podcast. I'm the podcast champion right here. Right here. Even Joe Cronin himself envies my belt. Right here. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Royal Rumble 2016. As for our previous podcast, which was our prediction show, which probably is still rendering as we speak. I got how many right? How many did I get correct?
You got quite a few right, and I got quite a few right.
I got
a perfect hug by the perfect couple.
I got the pre-show right. So either I have no life or I'm a really big fan if I got the pre-show right.
But look at that perfect hug by the perfect family.
Yeah, perfect Triple H. Triple H is the champion.
I love Steph.
I'm still the better champion.
She's the best valet in the business. Valet next to Miss Elizabeth.
Nobody cares about Paige. So, thoughts on the Royal Rumble?
I give it a 9. I stick to it. And I told you earlier it was a 9. I believe it's a 9.
A 9?
A 9.
Give me your reasons as to why it's a 9.
I say the pre-show was pretty good, even though it could have been pumped up, but you see why. The Kevin Owens.
True.
Vince McMahon doing his little dance is priceless.
Yeah.
Triple H, nobody seen it coming. Everybody thought it was going to be Roman.
Everybody seen it coming.
Triple H being a champion? No, everybody thought it was going to be Roman and Triple H in a controversial ending. Like
no, everybody just thought that Triple H was going to come out at the end. They didn't say exactly how. Some people said final 2, some people said otherwise.
Wait a minute, Is he Sting? Seth Rollins?
Where?
They're showing like Sting and Seth Rollins. I don't know what they was doing, but we were talking about WrestleMania or something.
I turned the TV off after that.
Oh,
basically, this Royal Rumble was predictable to an extent.
But it was exciting at the same time.
It was exciting, but it was predictable, and
it wasn't predictable to the fact of AJ Styles. Nobody really knew AJ Styles would show up.
They didn't know he was going to show up because WWE, and I must commend them, they did a good job. They let people know he was here, but they didn't say whether or not he was going to be at the Royal Rumble. They kept on denying it. So I'll give them credit for that.
Well, this also boosts up the show brand because
people want to know what's next. I don't think AJ Styles is going to be on Raw.
He's got to be on Raw. People think he's going to be on Raw. He's going to be on Raw because people get embraced.
You know why AJ Styles cannot be on Raw?
Why?
What are they going to do with him? He'd be better off on NXT. It wouldn't be the first time they've had NXT wrestlers come up to the main roster for Royal Rumble and go back down. Now, here's what they should do. They should put AJ Styles, what they did in the Rumble, then make him disappear for a month or 2. Then debut him on NXT. Maybe in a Samoa Joe segment. Bring back some of that TNA fire.
Nah, they should really like boost up like an intercontinental type, division.
I don't know. I don't think that AJ Styles should have the IC title. I just don't see him with it.
It would beef up the competition, I'm saying.
It would, but I just don't see him with that title. I don't think AJ Styles is the type of guy to carry a title like that.
Well, in your opinion, whether they give it to him or not,
I don't think he should have the U.S. title.
Division.
I think he should have the U.S. title.
I think he's deserving of the heavyweight title, but we're just,
Vince isn't gonna go for it.
yeah.
He has that. He's not a small guy because standing next to Roman, he doesn't look that small. He's gotten bigger since the TNA days. However, even though he's not a small guy, he's known as the TNA guy. You got to remember, where was the Royal Rumble? Where was the Royal Rumble at this year? Miami, Florida. Where was TNA all those years? Florida, Orlando, not too far from Miami. Of course, if you're driving, it's about a 4-hour drive, but you get my point. So, of course, they're going to cheer for him. They're going to get a big pop. But you know what was funny, though? During the Usos and New Day match, did anybody else notice that they were booing the Usos?
Yeah, I've noticed that in quite a few earlier shows. They've been the Usos.
Because people were getting tired of the Usos.
So maybe it might be time for like a breakup.
No, not a breakup. They're just getting tired of the Usos being pushed as a face. And it might be because they're getting tired of Roman Reigns being pushed as a face. And they're taking it out on the Usos too because, the family. The only one that they can't hate is Dean Ambrose because how can you hate the reincarnation of Brian Pillman?
Or Mick Foley.
Nah, Brian Pillman. But he did try to do something with Mick Foley and it didn't work out. He's a fucking liability. But as for the New Day and the Usos match, there were some botches in it, but it wasn't really that enticing to me. It didn't catch my attention that well. The whole trombone thing was cool to an extent. They got the crowd chanting "Blow Francesca" and all that. That was alright. But that's that little kiddie shit. I guess I'm still stuck in the Attitude Era. Yeah, I'm 20 years old, about to be 21. So I was a little kid during the Attitude Era, but I like that era and the Ruthless Aggression era, which I still watch on the WWE Network for only 0.00 because God knows I'm not paying $9.99 for that garbage. But I like that era better. They can still incorporate stuff like that in PG, which you see in NXT. Good wrestling, somewhat good storylines, enticing character development, and people love it. They could do that. But, fucking Vince being out of touch, he's more out of touch than the guy with no fingers and frostbite. But next match, let's talk about the pervert himself, Ric Flair. Woo! That was fucking disgusting.
I like Ric Flair.
That kissing Becky Lynch, that was disgusting.
Nah, that's Flair being the dirtiest player, kissing babies, making his campaign.
No.
And dining, Will stealing.
That seemed like the old white uncle who wants his little teenage niece to sit on his lap when she's like 19 years old, knowing damn well his 80-year-old geriatric needs to pop Cialis ass, does not need to be around them young girls and shit. That I didn't like that shit at all. If everybody had a problem with Scott Hall saying that Paige needs to be spanked, if everybody had a problem with saying Scott Hall was wrong for saying Paige needed to be spanked, and we all know Paige is like super thought, then they should not have done it with the chick who looks like she walked straight out of Pixar's Brave.
No, I like Charlotte.
So I was half. I'm gonna take half a L for my prediction because common sense dictated that since Ric Flair was the manager or whatever, since they just started that up, that WWE was not going to make Charlotte lose the title yet. But I was hoping that Becky would win the title. So I'm gonna say that I got that half.
I was right. I was right on that one.
I figured that she wasn't going to. I figured she wasn't going to, but I was hoping she'd get the title. And maybe one day she'll get a good run with the title. But what I didn't expect, because they did say Sasha Banks was injured, but then again, if you look at it, freaking maybe they just did that to throw it for a loop, to add a shock value, which it didn't really do, but people love Sasha Banks, so it was just welcome seeing her not surrounded by Tonga Kid's great-granddaughter, and I have a fat ass but no push. Team worse, because they're not bad, they're horrible. They're good separate, but they're you just get tired of all the little high school cliques and shit. But let's talk about the match of the night. Kevin Owens versus Dean Ambrose. That match was 5.5 star, only because they beat the hell out of each other. It went for a good length. The match itself, like I said, I had no problems with the match. It was cool how Dean retained, but it showed that Kevin Owens could still kick ass. I don't feel that Kevin Owens lost anything image-wise by what was that Click 2.0 thing?
NWO. NWO.
I don't feel that Kevin Owens lost any momentum losing to Dean Ambrose. And I think that they felt even if he did, they were gonna have him eliminate AJ Styles. It's funny how they got it. There had to be a lot of marks in the freaking audience because they started cheering as soon as Kevin Owens went straight for AJ Styles. They didn't boo as much as they would have if anybody else did. So there had to be a lot of indie fans in the audience for that one.
Shout out to the NWO and Alondra Blaze that was just on WWE Network.
I'm not even watching that right now. As soon as we finish this podcast, I'm going on the Joe Cronin show. And you guys can call in the show. Not really sure how. This is my first Google Hangouts broadcast, but if you guys know how, the email is smith91795@gmail.com. That's Smith, like Will Smith, 91795@gmail.com. Hopefully soon we'll get better lighting and stuff. But like I said, this is my first broadcast. I'm testing it out. I'm Chaos. This is my man Izzy. Like I said, you can call into the show. Once again, for the third time, it's Smith91795@gmail.com. Google Hangouts live broadcast. If you have anything you want to say, I also have my Q&A open. You could ask questions. I'll answer those questions. If you guys have YouTube channels, I'm willing to subscribe for a subscription. Like, I'm starting out here. This is something new we're trying to do. Got the belt here. I'm trying to be the champion of podcasting, you know. And speaking of podcasting, make sure you guys subscribe to Joe Cronin. He's also doing a live broadcast right now, which is what I'll be watching after this broadcast is over at the Joe Cronin Show. And you can also check out JD from New York at JD from New York 206. Make sure you also follow those guys on Twitter and Devious Dave Rose for all your best and latest wrestling news. Now, let's see. United States Championship match. I predicted it. You guys thought I was wrong. You and Barry. Barry's not here right now. But you guys both thought that Del Rio would keep the title. If they didn't want Kalisto to have the title, they wouldn't have let him win the first time. But let me say this. I'm getting sick and tired of, like they did with Roman Reigns, making these guys two-time champions in the span of a month. Back in the day, it used to take you, almost a year, 2 years to be a two-time champion? Now people are becoming two-time champions like this. I see somebody lose the title, come back, take 3 shits, and they're already a 5-time champion. What happened? Now it makes Booker T being a 5-time champion look like peanuts. Am I wrong? So I don't really have much to say about that match. It was somewhat good action. It wasn't that many botches. Thank God Sin Cara's injured. No, well, that's messed up. Get well soon, dude, and learn how to wrestle. Divas match, we already covered that. It was all right. I like the Sasha Banks run-in, but I don't think you should have beat the hell out of Becky Lynch. Come on, she's already sucking.
Mm-hmm.
Royal Rumble was pretty good. As you said, AJ Styles came, which is cool. Hopefully they utilize him well and don't throw him down the shitter because he's a very talented wrestler. I noticed how they might have let him do the Styles Clash, and it's funny how Michael Cole actually called him the Phenomenal One and mentioned his actual move called the Styles Clash. So maybe they just are going to accept the fact that those names are used in TNA, or they just don't give a shit because TNA is on Pop TV. But what do you think is going to happen tomorrow?
Probably see some more TNA old employees.
I doubt it. They're not going to bring Aries in tomorrow. They're not going to. See, this is what they could do. They could have AJ Styles there and like have him jump the Wyatts or some shit.
That wouldn't make any sense. There's too many people on the
Who eliminated AJ Styles? Kevin Owens. But
Yeah,
Kevin Owens might go into a thing with Sami Zayn because you saw how pissed off he looked when Sami Zayn came out. So
yeah,
Sami Zayn might be on there tomorrow because
that might
they're
be
not
good.
gonna have Kevin Owens go back after Dean Ambrose. I doubt it.
Nah, that would be a good triangle with the thing right there.
It's too soon to push him like that.
They could. They
You
know
know,
like
you know what they could do if they're not gonna use him as a wrestler. They could do like a whole general manager storyline type thing, and have Daniel Bryan come in as a general manager,
mm,
like what they did with Mick Foley as a commissioner. That could,
yeah.
but he wants to wrestle. But then again, you don't always get what you want.
Mm.
So, but anything else you want to cover right now?
Well, Daniel Bryan and Triple H would make more sense right now.
No, because they need to push Roman.
He can be involved again in a little triangle thing.
I doubt it because then nobody's gonna give a shit about Roman, and they're not turning Roman heel.
And
There's no way. There is no way possible to turn Roman heel right now.
they have to do a triangle thing to keep up the momentum because there's 10 weeks before WrestleMania. Daniel Bryan could drop off. It could be like a little trial run to see if he'll be healthy enough.
Yeah, but my thing is they can't turn Roman heel now. Now they're backed into a
Not the
corner.
fact of turning him heel, he could do it as a good guy.
But nobody's going to like Roman. No one likes Roman.
They'll save each other. Daniel Bryan will save him 1 week. He'll
And
save.
then no, they'll still like Roman Reigns more. I mean, they'll still like Daniel Bryan more. My fault. They're not gonna like Roman Reigns. It was a forced push. You heard what Michael Cole said? It made me laugh. Oh, Roman Reigns tried so hard over the past year to gain the respect of the WWE universe. Bullshit. We still don't like him.
Some people do. But Daniel Bryan is
Did you hear the shitstorm of boos when Roman Reigns came back and started eliminating people?
It's regional. But like anyway, Daniel Bryan is
Regional. Name some places where they actually do like Roman. And please do not say Pennsylvania. Don't say Pittsburgh. Please don't. Or Philadelphia. Don't say that. Because the Royal Rumble crowd booed the shit out of him. They brought Roman back to win the title in Philadelphia, knowing that it wasn't going to be the exact same crowd. It was going to be a little bit of the marks, but with all the little kids who love John Cena, but John Cena wasn't really there. So, of course, they're going to cheer for the next fruity face they see, which was Roman Reigns. Suffering succotash. Believe that.
They love him in North Carolina. They love him in a lot of places, in a lot of venues.
It's not them. It's the women and children.
Of course. So he's a good guy. He's not going to be like John Cena.
But the thing is, you could be a good guy, but then there's being a good guy and then there's being John Cena. People love Dean Ambrose. He's a good guy. But he's
in a
not
different kind of way. It's character-wise. They're different kind of characters in a sense because Dean Ambrose is the modern-day Stone Cold.
No, he's the modern-day Brian Pillman. He's nothing like Stone Cold.
He's
nothing like Stone Cold.
Like Stone Cold. He has good qualities.
Crazy like Brian Pillman. But look,
Pillman was just crazy, and
if Rocky Maivia,
look, Brian Pillman was high flying. You're just taking a point where he had beef with Stone Cold. That's not Brian Pillman.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not even talking about the beef with Stone Cold.
Tag team together.
I'm talking about the insane factor. How crazy this dude is. He's willing to do certain stuff. Brian Pillman didn't do this.
He's not the epitome of crazy, though. Brian Pillman was not the epitome of crazy, though.
But to an extent.
He wasn't.
To an extent.
Mick Foley was crazy laying on the floor being Mankind, to be more exact.
But he's not that kind of crazy. He's not the crazy as in pulling his hair out.
Goldust is crazy if you want to say crazy.
There's different forms of crazy. You can say AJ Lee was crazy.
Huh?
You wouldn't say AJ Lee is crazy because she might try and kick my ass.
Yeah. Mickey J at one time was crazy.
But that's not the kind of crazy. He's the crazy that I can relate to. Where I'll jump off a burning building into thumbtacks for the fans crazy.
So was Mick Foley.
Yeah, so I'll give you that credit, but I feel like their personality is not the same. He has the personality of Brian Pillman, with the lack of regard for safety of Abyss and Mick Foley. But back to Roman Reigns. If Rocky Maivia and John Cena had a baby, it'd be Roman Reigns.
Hmm.
And that's a fact. But honestly, we did good for this show so far. We got like between our highest viewership so far was 9. Hopefully we'll get like maybe 20 next time we do a show. I'm willing to do a post Raw show, but I know you probably got to go to work tomorrow. So I might have to have some people call in. I'm going to figure out how to get the calls to go through. But this is going to end up being uploaded on YouTube. It might end up being uploaded before our podcast while I was sitting inside that igloo. Yes, guys, I was actually sitting inside a frozen igloo because I was losing my mind at what could possibly happen at this Royal Rumble. But it was actually tolerable. It was like drinking battery acid, but it had bubblegum flavor. So it wasn't that bad. I'll give this pay-per-view a 8, 8.5. You get me drunk, maybe I'll give it an 8.75. He wants to give it a 9, so I'm thinking Kevin Dunn probably went to his house and gave him a blowjob for that 9. But this is Chaos and Izzy. We did our podcast. I'm about to go check out the Joe Cronin Show. Like I said, go subscribe to his channel. Go watch his podcast at Joe Cronin Show. Also check out JD from New York 206 and Devious Dave Rose at their podcast for all your wrestling information, news, and whatever you want to know. Any last words?
Live your life.
I'm still the champ, though. Peace, guys. We're off there.
Too sweet.